Neil's helped you a lot, I know, and he'll probably
Yeah,
he's
he definitely will.
he's an expert at everything. That guy. I don't know anything he's bad at. Can you
Anything that
find his
Neil's
weakness,
bad
his
at,
kryptonite?
I will find his weakness and exploit it. That can be my next task.
Well,
Get an job. I'm just gonna exploit Neil. No, what is Neil bad at? I don't know. That's a very good
I think
question.
he's bad at
I'm sure
resting.
yeah, oh my god. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
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 Being still, that's what Neil's bad at. Yeah, no, he's been amazing. He's kind of held my hand all the way through this. I'm very grateful for Neil Newbon, and all of the origins actually, like Deborah Wild, who plays Lae'zel. The irony that she is one of my most wonderful friends when Lae'zel and Shadowheart hate each other.
I
But
know.
we just like I adore that woman so much. And yeah, and yet do we get on in the game? Not at all. But yeah, no, the actors on this game have are just I love how everyone's so invested in it.
You can tell, like when you're watching performance or hearing a performance, you can tell the difference between if the actors, I mean, it sounds so lame, but having fun. Like, for example, Neil, who plays Astarion, like he was having the time of his life in there.
I can tell.
And you can hear it. And then if you have an actor who's new, who's just tense, that's like a huge part of our job is to essentially just be like, okay, it's okay. It's all right. What we're going to do is this. Is this how it's going to be? And ultimately, it's not all about like, let me go in and give you a shoulder rub, but it's about, it is about relaxation. Because you know what it's like when you're nervous, like your whole body just seizes up. And I mean, that's kind of the opposite of where you want to be if you're going to be giving a great performance.
And the worst thing as well is that they are, by the time they've reached us, they're here for a reason. We've gone through their reels, we've gone through their casting. We want them to be here. And there is getting them in that headspace of, you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
You can do this. We believe in you. Let us help you do that. And so sometimes it's just climbing people down from their anxieties. But then some people just hit the ground running. So, yeah.
It's understanding the character. And as the lovely Neil Newbon says is we and other people have said, you're not to judge the character. You're like, so if you're playing a villain or a good guy, you can't say, well, I wouldn't do that, but they would.
Yeah.
So we've got to understand a little bit about why. Yeah, I think that's my preparation, as it were.
Is that the biggest thing you've learned from him, or is there something else that sticks in your head that you've learned from Neil over the years?
I've learned a lot from Neil, and I'm very fortunate because I get to go. And the reason why I was telling the story about me taking the camera to his course is that I actually ended up being the videographer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for Neil's courses.
Oh, nice.
So I've seen, I want to say.
So you've seen him talk a lot. You've learned a lot. Definitely. You got the cheat sheet.
That's right. I'm his sous chef. No, not really. No, I've learned a great deal. That is one of them. And trauma, like I think there's a really good one about trauma. Like if you haven't dealt with a trauma in your past that's like more than 7 years old, then don't use that to kind of affect your performance. Neil's is a bit more method. I've learned, you're not in it for yourself. And I that's kind of where my background is from anyway. But in terms of actors and in terms of Neil's kind of influence, he's like you can't be in this game.
You're serving the story, kind of thing.
You're serving the story.
Yeah.
You're working with so many different creatives, and it's a village, right? You're working with lots of other people who are trying to tell the same story, and you can't block that by saying, well, actually, I want to do it like, well, you can to an extent, but like, it's collaboration. It's just
the way you mentioned Neil. Did he direct you?
No, Neil never directed, sadly, but I know he did direct some of the sessions.
Yeah. So you just met him in the corridor or whatever. He was just
we met in between in a break, I think.
a
couple of times, and then I was doing another game. I came in and he was doing a session.
Oh wow!
So I met him a couple of times, and I know he's doing a live stream. He's organised a live stream. He's passionate about.
Are you going to join him on that, or you don't know?
I'm going to talk to him about it. I haven't managed to, since I got back from Spain. I haven't managed to speak to him, but I'm hoping to. Yeah, if everything aligns timing wise, that I can be there.
There was a lot of nerves those first day. It was like doing a first day at school, and you have those jitters, and all you want to do is not fall flat on your face. And everyone, I think, on set did a really great job of welcoming me in. Neil Newbon was one of my crossovers, who's also in Baldur's Gate 3 as Astarion.
Legend.
And he literally. But he was actually, I think, the first person I met when I walked on to set on the first day, and was so generous about his time and resources, and he's just an outgoing and generous person.
He's always championed you, Maggie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's just because he's amazing. But he really was definitely a mentor for me throughout that process, because he has so much mocap experience. And then the second he learned that this is my first time, it was like, oh, amazing. Here's everything. And the whole cast did that as well. Yeah. So it was a really lovely working experience. And Larian's the same way, quite honestly. I really loved, it was a lot more intimate because it was just me in the mocap booth, and then me and the directors that I was working with.
Did you ever work with Neil?
I worked with Neil. He directed me on a couple of sessions. Yeah, man. Even sometimes. So when you're in the volume and you're doing the work, obviously, well, maybe other characters did this, but I did. I was never acting with another actor in the volume. Yeah, so not once was I doing that. But what I did have sometimes, if the other character's line had been recorded, I could get that played to me, and then I could play off that line, which is an actor's dream. If you've got something to work against, then that's perfect. So Neil's brilliant, man. Neil's brilliant. And even post the game's release, him just giving me advice and just bits of wisdom, man. Because honestly, without him and a couple other people in the building at Pit Stop, I would be lost, because really? I had no idea all this stuff post the release was going to happen.
So you had everyone. Lucky duck.
Yeah. I know. Neil Newbon directed me for
Neil
a session too. Yeah. I like got you never really knew who you were going to get. I think they've got kind of 3 main mocap studios and then one that they can use in an emergency. And so, on really busy days, they could technically kind of have like all of them on the go. And so it is just, who's free to direct? No, I'm sure it was way more organized than that, but you need a lot of directors. So yeah, I got to work with so many incredible people. So lucky.
This character's journey has been absolutely extraordinary, and I can't thank Swen and Larian and Pitstop and Josh Weeden and Jason Latino and all those kind of people, and Stephen Rooney, the writer, enough to say thank you so much for giving me this fucking hell, mate. Sorry, for giving me this character, because it's allowed me the totality of an acting experience in a project sustained over 4 years. I've made friendships, I've had fun, it's allowed me to sustain myself as an actor, and honestly, man,
you're gonna get me one man for the first time.
Sorry, it's been one of the best games, gifts, and characters I've ever played. It really has.
Man. Well, we're gonna have to do this again.
This on camera, Dan.
No, we're not recording. Don't worry about it.